Jamie and Amelia were once seen as the epitome of a quiet, stable, mature marriage. They were unassuming, and seemingly able to maintain peace in the spotlight. But in that quiet, invisible cracks began to form, slowly, quietly, and over the years. The early years, a piece woven by habit. In the fictional story, Jamie was good at creating the illusion of security. He was punctual, remembered anniversaries, and always showed up for important occasions. Amelia, meanwhile, put her trust in the little things. Regular dinners, good-night texts, short weekend trips. They lived in a steady rhythm, a rhythm that made people believe there was no need to doubt. But steady did not mean deep. As the workload increased, Jamie began to bring home fatigue and silence. Amelia read it as professional pressure, not a sign of growing distance. The origin of lies. It's just business. In this fictional world, the relationship with Dakota doesn't explode immediately. It begins with work meetings, longer than necessary conversations, late-night texts under the pretext of urgent projects. Jamie skillfully wraps everything in the language of responsibility and ambition. The scary part of betrayal, if anything, is not the sudden blow, but the series of small choices that gradually make the people involved accustomed to crossing the line. Jamie chooses to hide her schedule, chooses to delete messages, chooses to lie, because she doesn't want to make a big deal out of it. And each time, the moral line moves a little further. Dakota in the story, the mirror of attention. Dakota, a fictional character, is constructed as someone who arrives at the exact moment Jamie needs to be heard. In conversations, she gives him the feeling of being understood, of being seen, something Jamie believes he lacks at home. The intimacy, initially mental, gradually slips into emotional. The author of the story does not portray Dakota as the instigator. She is merely the catalyst in a reaction that has been simmering for a long time. When the two finally cross the final line, it is not a moment of impulsive passion, but the result of hundreds of previous, "it's okay" times. Prolonged betrayal. The art of concealment. What hurts Amelia most in this fictional storyline is not just the affair, but the time. Years pass while she believes she is living the truth. Jamie becomes a master of a double schedule, a family version and a secret version. Extended, business trips, unscheduled, meetings, unexplained silences. All of this builds a wall. Amelia, who believes in maturity and respect for privacy, chooses not to question it. It is this trust that, in the story, inadvertently becomes the space for lies to flourish. The moment of revelation, when the little details speak. The truth of the story is revealed not in a big shock, but in small details. A name that appears repeatedly, an invoice that is out of date, an evasive look. Amelia begins to piece together the fragments, and the complete picture that emerges is colder than she expected. The face-to-face conversation is not loud. No immediate tears. Just a long, suffocating silence. Jamie admits, but the belated confession is not enough to explain why years of marriage were built on a foundation of lies. The consequences. When trust collapses silently. In this fictional universe, the consequences are not scandalous, but inner turmoil. Amelia faces the most weighty question of all. What is real, what is stage? When a person has lied long enough, the shared memory becomes suspect. The story ends not with punishment, but with choice. Amelia's choice is to draw a line under her dignity. Jamie's choice is to accept that not every mistake can be fixed, and not every apology comes in time. Fictitious author's final words. This is not a story about a third person, but a story about silence. The thing that allows lies to exist and grow. Betrayal rarely begins with a big decision. It often begins with small concessions, repeated long enough to become a habit.